This video is part of an ongoing series. The first video, linked in the top right, will help you understand and follow every video released alongside it, including this video. Thank you and enjoy. Hey everyone, Thinkafurr here! Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's book, carried and held by Arven, given to the player character, you, is an object of great importance and equally as mysterious. It has a direct connection to the Time Machine's activation and use. It causes Paradise Protection Protocol to occur, is also closely tied to the Professor Turo and Professor Sada. Its original writer is, at first glance, thought to be the original researcher, Heath. However, it's shown that he met a strange entity and was later found unconscious, with piles of pages written up in his own handwriting in which he has no recollection of writing, just a faint memory of speaking to a strange entity in an off-putting and very unfamiliar place, thus indicating that perhaps he was possessed by the entity, who subsequently then used Heath's body to write the book instead. What forbidden knowledge did it contain? Why does it matter? What is this book really? And for those who saw and read the video title and are wondering, how does this involve anything from Eldritch lore or Cthulhu or anything of the H.P. Lovecraftian universe? Well, grab a cup of Thonk juice, get comfy, and suspend your disbelief for however long this video is, because we're going down the crossover conspiracy theory hole, Eldritch Cosmic Horror Pokemon style. Area Zero is a place of great mystery, significance, and most importantly, power. It's been a place of peak interest for the governing body of Paldea for the course of approximately 200 years, and even longer if you account for the Paldean Emperor's obsession with Area Zero 2,000 years ago. Either way you cut it, it's clearly been of interest for a very, very long time, and since then, many advances have been made with the use of Terastal energy-based technology. However, this power wasn't always freely available. Heath's interactions with the book and the entity he encountered at Area Zero caused a revival of Terastal power across Paldea's lands, its crystalline veins slowly coursing through the undercrops of the land, warping anything that may enter the crystal dens and granting the Elder God entity, the Sleeper Azathoth, aka the Time Machine, or what we read within Heath's entries as simply the entity, a medium in which to observe its dreamland and project itself. How is it then that such a book has so much significance? It clearly is a key in unlocking the power of the Time Machine, aka the entity that looms above the ceiling of the pedestal we insert it into, subsequently causing the Paradise Protection Protocol battle with either of the professors. Well, this book is clearly not an ordinary book. The information it contains comes from the mind and knowledge of a cosmic entity that could possess humans like Heath to write down and bestow its dark, forbidden knowledge so that Heath and anyone who reads it could use it. As that old saying goes, knowledge is power, right? Let me introduce you to a type of Eldritch artifact known simply as a Necronomicon. This is what the Scarlet Violet book, Heath's book, really is. A Necronomicon contains spells and summoning rituals to beckon forth powerful entities, of which the user can make pacts with or bend to their will. But what's more important is that it also contains detailed catalogs of information on all the eldritch horrors and monsters of the Lovecraftian universe, and recipes of the magical and mystical kind. Sound familiar? Oh, but it gets better than that. Because a Necronomicon is often created when a dark entity possesses the body or hands of a mortal and forces their body to write up the entire book. That book is, in a sense, then gifted to the mortal, once the entity ceases its possession, of course, but usually this isn't because the entity was being friendly. Instead, it's more likely that it wanted the mortal to use it and inadvertently make pacts, deals, and promises that later caused harm to the unwitting and unfortunate mortal who received the book. This method of possession is called auto-writing or spirit writing and doesn't last very long. But doesn't that just add up almost way too perfectly with a Scarlet Violet book? Heath's book? Heath personally recounts in diary entries that he fell unconscious, spoke to a strange entity in a weird place, and then woke up, having written pages upon pages of information down in his own handwriting and personally never having any memory of writing any of it. I think it's genuinely safe to really say at this point, but the Scarlet Violet book has got to be a Necronomicon, order written or spirit written by an entity that possessed Heath, the original researcher of Area Zero, which means we can go further in saying that this book, written in Heath's handwriting, is thus technically written by the entity Heath encountered, and how it is written is practically, if not completely, formatted like a Necronomicon. If it reads like it, sounds like it, looks like it probably is a Necronomicon. Still not convinced the Scarlet Violet book is a dark tome full of forbidden knowledge? Well, let's look at the book's contents and compare it further to a Necronomicon. The Titans, aka Paradox Pokemon auto-scribed by Heath into the book, are giant eldritch horrors catalogued showing how and where to capture them. In other words, how to bring eldritch entities under your service. Then a step further from this, Arven, one of the few other characters who holds this book, who we first see with this book, clings to this book in the hopes it will save Mabosstiff with the knowledge that is contained within. The book speaks of powerful mystical herbs in which Arven seeks to use to heal Mabosstiff with as well. These herbs are infused with Terastal power, aka Eldritch power, bestowing healing properties and causing Pokemon who consume them excessively to then be augmented and transformed into huge Titanic-sized Pokemon. Not unlike the totem Pokemon of Sun and Moon and the alpha Pokemon of Legends Arceus. It goes without saying that either Paradox Pokemon, in other words, Pokemon created from the same Eldritch energy, Terastal, are cut from the same cloth and are likely attracted to the Herba Mystica because it contains the energy they actually need. We see Miraidon and Koraidon always harass the player for their Herba Mystica sandwich, and we only see the Titan Pokemon portrayed as exclusively hell-bent consumers of the herbs when there's perfectly good food sources all around them elsewhere. Clearly, the Paradox Pokemon are fueled from the Terastal power that comes from the supposed Time Machine, aka the entity's power, who we theorize is the Eldritch Horror, the sleeper known as Sothoth. The question then becomes, what is Terastal really? It's an energy, of course, one that leaks out abundantly from its source, the Time Machine. But the Time Machine's building only has one exit, and the Paradox Pokemon exit from it when the exit is unsealed. That same exit is how we enter, only because the pipeline we walked through is damaged, allowing us to enter a space we aren't otherwise meant to enter. A space chock full of Resident Evil Paradox Pokemon waiting to nibble on our giblets. Anyway, clearly this massive pipe is one direction only, that singular direction being out. It's not meant for human egress. Instead, it's clearly meant for channeling something into a chamber that later stores that something and manipulates it, eventually releasing it from the door on the other side. Is this chamber the place where the Terastal power that is leaked into the land really a chamber where Terastal is channeled from underground, subsequently calibrated and manipulated into Paradox Pokemon? Sothoth is the sleeper, nuclear chaos, the dreamer. Whilst it sleeps, it dreams entire realities. Our reality is, according to Lovecraftian lore, just a dream of this unthinkable monstrosity's unfathomable mind. If it wakes, our reality ends. To be brought into the same place Sothoth exists is to be brought into the waking world. To control its power over the dreamland is to control reality, creating anything from any point of space-time, be it in the distant past or distant future. What is Terastal if not the power of the entity we are led to believe is this monstrosity we call a time machine? It visibly looks like a disc with tendrils, teeth, and a mouth. Portrayals of Sothoth illustrate an unspeakably enormous, titan-sized creator of cosmic proportion with an all-consuming array of teeth and tendril with a singular enormous mouth. Its form takes the shape based on whatever the viewer finds makes the most sense for their brain. In this case, for humans like Turo and Sada, they may have seen this entity as a time machine, a portal, or a wormhole. Regardless, even we the players experience this monstrosity as a mechanical horror, with very little said about what it really is besides a time machine, and no answers left once either professors enter it after they have battled with you and have had their bodies terastalized. But that's the thing. Terastal functions a lot like a blight, and Area Zero shows that if the power was left unchecked, it'd take over and envelop the paradise dreamland, Paldea. The Scarlet Violet book, aka the entity's Necronomicon, is likely to be a vital key in stopping this, and sad to say it, but during the final battle that initiated Paradise Protection Protocol, the book was seemingly consumed by the entity, perhaps being transported or transmuted with the Professor Turo or Sada. Will we ever see the Necronomicon book Heath was possessed into writing ever again? Will we ever see Professor Turo or Professor Sada return in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC? Well, ancient astronaut theorists say yes. But that said, we may never know. I'll leave this Eldritch-inspired mystery to you, thinkers, to ponder.
Thinkers, if you enjoyed this video, let me know your thoughts in the comments below and hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to support the channel's content monetarily, you can join as a member on Patreon or join on YouTube. Both will get your name in the credits and behind the scenes access. Now before I head out, be sure to share some of that love and support around at my partner's Instagram at ElfSpringArt.
Additionally, Elfie is now open for commissions publicly, so if you want something created, again, head down to their Instagram page.
Give them a follow. Love ya, Elfie! Thinkers, have a big-brained, thonky day, and be sure to think safe out there. Bye-bye!